Child, the interview with Dame Dash on the Breakfast Club. They called him a chatty patty. Now on TikTok, um, what did they say? Debt Dash? No, that's cold blooded. Listen, I have always been a fan of Dame Dash's nonsense. Um, like straight shooter. He is a straightforward person, um, very, very highly intelligent, right? Um, some people would say he has a great business mind. Um, and I would say he could even go even further beyond Rockefeller Records, beyond Jay-Z. And optically, I would say, if only Dame, you just get out of your way. Really. Um, the interview was hilarious, but at the same time sad because a huge part of me is like, Jay-Z's went on to become this billionaire allegedly. And I've always felt that Dame, you can't negate that Dame Dash was not a humongous part of Jay-Z's success, okay? And what I don't like is when people try to, brush over that or pretend like they don't know who this man is or they don't want to speak of him. Like, Jay-Z did all this on his own. And I refuse to say that because they were wonderful together and until they weren't anymore. And of course, I've moved on. It was hard because I was like, dang, gosh, you guys built something extraordinary together. Can you guys work it out? It's like that child, like two parents getting divorced. You want people to work out because they made such great things together. But I know that ship has sailed. However, even though I feel that Dame Dash is brilliant, he's created movies, music. Like I said, he has a very brilliant mind. But I would say his actions, what he says, to people, emasculating another black man, calling a person, allegedly calling Charlemagne, um, you seem like a feminine man, you seem gay. Wasn't Wendy Williams your boss at one point? As a just gay slurs. Um, 10 years ago on an interview coming after DJ Envy for clocking in, for having a 9 to 5, and called him selfish for having a 9 to 5. And you're not a boss because you don't own yourself, you don't own businesses. And I'm thinking, but everywhere we look, and here's the part when I say, um, there's always something about you not really being successful in your businesses. And again, the information could be wrong, Dame Dash, but it's nothing wrong with someone, and business owners do it all the time. They'll have a 9 to 5 so they can put it back into their businesses. And during the time that he was calling DJ Envy out and Charlemagne the God for, clocking in, their bills were being paid. And DJ Envy, and also I believe Charlemagne was an author. DJ Envy had his own businesses, but it was bothering him, and he felt like, how could you be so disrespectful? My son has a cookie business and I'm trying to leave, and it was a crash out. That was 10 years ago. But today to me was humiliating for me to see, Dame Dash get humiliated because he could not answer the questions, um to why, if you are a boss, and this is my question I'm going to ask you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. But here's a question I want to ask my viewers, my catchers, right? Can you still be a boss in a repossession season? Everything around you is being repossessed, allegedly. That's what's happening to him. He's going through bankruptcy. He's going through, financial hardships. This is what's in the media. Again, I'm not counting his wallet. This is what's been being said allegedly. And can you still call yourself a boss and then tell another man that you're not man enough because you are still working a 9 to 5 job? And I think that's crazy. Um you can't, for me, yes, you can wear your crown and be the king and queen you are, even in the midst of things falling apart. But being a boss is someone that is good financially, self sufficient, right? And your businesses are growing, and you can celebrate another king or queen no matter, instead of trying to emasculate them and make a person feel less than, but you're falling apart. That's not boss status. I mean, can we keep it a buck? Um,
with you is
I'm just going through this,
you're a businessman and an entrepreneur.
you know, um, because I know DJ Envy has been wanting to really get him back from that 10 years ago interview. You know, um, while speaking with the host, and I'm just reading this, Dame Dash zeroed in on Charlemagne the God, calling him gay and sharing, I don't think you're the proper representation of the masculine black men. That's crazy. And then the tension only escalated from there, with Dame Dash even threatening to punch Charlemagne in the face. That's not boss status. A real boss can keep his cool. And again, the gay slurs, not necessary at all. It's was uncalled for. But here's the thing that was sad to watch. Charlemagne the God was laughing the whole time. I mean, everybody was laughing because um, this 50-year-old man in a suit, he could not answer the questions and they were good questions, because they were like, please explain to us that a person that's going through all this, I'm not saying verbatim of what DJ Envy, but pretty much repossession season, and you're in bankruptcy. um how how does a boss recover from that? What? And he was getting really aggravated, but they were really good questions. It was like, You came at me like I wasn't, I'm still nothing to you. He even said that, look at where you guys work. You guys work in a small box, a tent, or whatever he said, still calling them out for having a job that pays well, but you don't, according to the media, he wanted to explain what a bankruptcy is. Bankruptcy is to help you get out of your situation, but he wanted to prove to them, I still got my money. In fact, I am a chairman on Revolt. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was actually interesting. That Revolt is a big, yeah. Dame Dash reveals why he filed for bankruptcy and announced that he's the new Revolt chairman. And that would make him Cameron's boss. And he also this week had it out with Cameron, which is an old friend of his, under his label, because he allegedly put Cameron on. Cameron is a rapper, but it's it's very juvenile to um just go back and forth like a child. You know, um, it seems so immature. Going back and forth, calling him names. Um, it was. I'm just reading some of the comments too. Um, for a grown man to be that committed to pause, and pause is an old um term that was on the Boondocks. Pause is like called no homo. You know, um, it's meaning I'm not gay. Pause, and he says pause every sentence. It's crazy in conversations, which is that's not necessary. Um, oh, and Charlemagne says, this is so wrong, because the whole time Dame was trying to, put them down, they had comebacks for him. Charlemagne says Dame should start a new label called Debt Jam. Now that is, like I said, it was so hard to watch because, like I said, I feel like for Dame to fall the way he's falling is just, it's crazy. I wish him all the best. Just crazy. It, it had its moments where it was hilarious, but at the same time it was like, oh God, you just, it was a hot mess. Dame Dash appeared on a recent episode. I'm going to read theroot.com. I love their website. Dame Dash appeared on a recent episode of The Breakfast Club and went head to head with Charlemagne the God in what's already being dubbed one of the show's most explosive and entertaining interviews yet. From jump, Dame Dash came out swinging when he challenged hosts' manhood, his rise in radio, and his sexuality. It was just crazy. At one point, the discussion became so heated, the verbal threats were exchanged. The clash quickly turned into a battle of egos, setting the stage for a candid interview that had the studio and social media buzzing. As we previously discussed, the former Rockefeller CEO has reportedly been struggling financially. However, it's clear his clapback energy is in perfect condition. While Dash came, I wouldn't say that because his comebacks were like, childish because he couldn't really answer the the questions that were really good questions, um, with clear, answers. It was like a lot of like grade school, like childish behavior. And like I said, the whole gay slurs were just ridiculous. Um, while Dash came to the morning show to promote his new artist, address claims that he's broke, explain why he has false teeth, and more, things took a turn when Dash shifted from his finances to Charlemagne being a bad example of masculine black men, which was so crazy. The radio host's first reaction was to laugh, which seems to be a common theme throughout the super entertaining interview. I don't think you're proper representation of the masculine black man. You know what I'm saying. I don't think you guys are. Dash shot seemingly including DJ Envy. Like your OG is Wendy Williams. She put you on and you should give her grace. And you should also give her props out of respect, he explained. And the record exec then teased that Charlemagne ran, referring to a 2012 incident where the host was held up by five men plotting to attack them per World Star. Yeah, I'd rather get my ass whipped, he teased. That's what Dame said on the interview. The tension escalated further when Dash called Charlemagne gay to his face, according to him. His start in gossip under Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams. Shout out to Wendy, looking great. I saw her at a New York Fashion Week event, looking like as if nothing bad has been happening to her. She looks great. But she's a shock jock, and Charlemagne the God, Wendy Williams was her boss. They were shock jocking together at her station. Excuse me. Um, Under Wendy Williams is very feminine. And this is what Dame Dash is saying, that Charlemagne the God is feminine for having um, Wendy Williams, as a boss. Is very feminine, maintaining that his background is unbecoming of a man's character. And I'm thinking, how could you a just attack another black man's sexuality? Has nothing to do with you struggling financially. You came to his job. And mind you, Charlemagne the God is not gay. Let me just say that. He's married, um, and he has children, and he makes an honest living. He's, like I say, he's an author. I believe he has businesses. It's like they're not in the news being broke. And it's like, oh my God, Dame, I want you to win. Cause I don't anyways. Um, no disrespect. This is what he says, but I kind of think you're gay. You just act a little gay, Dame Dash said. When asked if he has a problem with gay people, he denied it, saying, not at all. I've got a problem with people that pretend they're not gay. He said, men that are gay should say they're gay, Dash urged. When Charlemagne denied the claim, he doubled down. You are. This is crazy. When the radio host finally came with a jab, teasing that Dash's energy was like an old Harlem auntie, Dash turned up his heat in response. See, you can't take the heat. Get out the kitchen, Dame. I could punch you right in your face like a grown man. You won't do shit, Dash exclaimed. Your version of respect is different than mine. If you were on the street right now and you were talking like that, I would have effed you up, he reiterated, but I'm not going to do that. Fans ran to the comments section to weigh in on the tense exchange, and it's clear folks just came to get their laugh on. Wait, did he say his OG is Wendy Williams? And there's laugh emojis. One fan laughed. Dame called Charlemagne a gossip girl. Ha ha ha. A second laughed. Wendy is the reason why Charlemagne is in the radio. Let's be clear. She opened the doors for the majority of black radio hosts to be raw and uncut. Another commented, the gossip queen. This escalated so fast. Oh my God. A fourth wrote. In the end, the interview was less about music or business moves and more about Dame Dash giving unexpectedly like an entertaining show. One that was equal parts combative, messy it was, and undeniably hilarious according to fans. So yeah, go to YouTube and watch it, you guys. Again, some parts was funny, some parts is like, oh, Dame, talk about what you're going to do, um, evolve, do something, better, and get a job somewhere so that, which is brilliant. It's nothing wrong to have a 9 to 5 and be an entrepreneur on the side so you could just build money. And then if you want to leave your 9 to 5, you can once you have established, you know, your finances, you have savings attached, you have money growing. But then again, we don't know what's happening. Some people just do bankruptcy not because they're broke, but because it's a great business move because you're getting rid of, a business that's just not worth you putting money into it. So that could be the reason also. But still doesn't give Dame the right to knock someone else's hustle. I've always said it. If I was to win millions in the lottery, I would still have my 9 to 5. And it's smart. Live off of one income and then have multiple streams of income just stacking, stacking, stacking. Because a real boss to me doesn't have any type of finances and they don't have to do bankruptcy. There you have it. But anyways, you guys, I love you. You guys go to YouTube and watch the Breakfast Club interview with Dame Dash. Till next time. Bye.